The second story is about indigenous peoples women in the Caraga region. One of the indigenous peoples group in the Mindanao, and what I'm wearing is from Mindanao, it's a cloth from Mindanao, are the Manobo tribe. And this is a story of Manobo women. And it is a story of a community effort in business that is not mainly for profit, but for the good of the community as a whole. The community where the projects of the government reaches the marginalized and disadvantaged this is one example where the women themselves are working their way out of poverty. It's in Sitio Bantulinaw, Butuan City, and it's a story of the women in far-flung mountainous area in this sitio. And what they did, despite their low educational attainment, studied how to do the business, and we provided the capacity and technical assistance for this, provided them 10,000 pesos each, 19 of them, and what they did was to begin not an individual livelihood project, but as a community project. And the first thing that they did was to ensure that there is a constant supply in their area of the basic needs. So they started a sari-sari store, a convenience store in English. But this is not your 7-Eleven or your, this convenience store. It's a small store compared to those, but to the women, it was a store that provided rice, that provided the basic food commodities that they would need in this far-flung area. But the most important thing here is that they did not stop there. When they saw that they knew the business, they started to also buy and sell one of the main products in the area, which is abaca fiber and rattan. And in so doing, they were able to gather enough capital to address one of their issues in the area, which is energy. So what they did was they were able to establish, together with support from the energy sector, a mini hydroelectric power generation from a falls located in Bantolinaw. And therefore, this effort is owned by the Federation and the people of Bantolinaw. It provides electricity 24/7 to 50 indigenous people's household in Bantolinaw. It has increased the capacity of the children to study, the capacity of the people to enjoy a quality of life where energy is part of their lives in the community. Again, a very good example of solidarity economy where profit is not their first goal. Profit is a means to be able to address the needs of their community and address the basic the basic elements of having a community living an improved quality of life, having electricity, having constant supply of the basic commodities through their store, and having additional income so that they can improve whatever they think is needed by their families, improve their houses, get better clothes, give more vitamins to their children if that's needed, get more nutritious food. Now, to support the Sustainable Livelihood Program of the department, we also are implementing together with different NGOs and NGAs, so non-government organizations and national government agencies, the National Community-Driven Development Program. This program is a poverty alleviation program of the national government and is supported in the Philippine Development Plan. It basically is a community-driven development effort where it recognizes that service delivery, poverty reduction, and good governance can happen if and only when the people are owning and running the process in the communities. It helps communities in poor municipalities to identify challenges around reducing poverty and making informed decisions, gives control of the resources because the money coming from the national government, that is us, goes directly to a community account. A community account where the people who actually hold the bank books are the people who will implement the projects, not the elected village councils. The only elected village council member that's part of the sub-project committee is the treasurer because he is bonded. But those who are implementing the projects are the ones who basically controls the money, and there's a whole process that we call community empowerment activity cycle that ranges from analyzing what their problems are to identifying at an assembly in the barangay and then moving into an assembly at the municipality and making a choice by actually voting on those projects with the amount that is for this municipality known to everyone. So this process is a transparent process, an empowering process, because the money goes directly to the people, not to the local officials, not to the DSWD, but to their accounts. So a story from here is a story about the water for coastal villages. Coastal villages get clean drinking water for this. This is in Camarines Sur. And this is basically initiated again through that process that I explained, where the people themselves identify that this is one of the most important need that they have. They were provided pipes and calibration of water meter during the construction. Women laborers were helping in the pipe laying out. And at the end of that process, there were 12 water tap stands operational, catering to 102 households. Again, when you talk about economy, and when I was listening to the first two speakers, those are very important concepts, but what we're trying to do in this program is bring to life those concepts in the lives of people in the villages. That solidarity is about thinking of water and working together to maintain that water, so that in fact, we can be one. If we're one here in the community, we can be one with the country, and we can be one in the region. Finally, the last example I'd like to give is leading the path for the children. This is about human spiders, as we call them, because to get to school from this sitio and barangay, they have to climb down from where they are and literally crawl down and crawl up to go back home. And they do that because they want to study and because their parents say that this is an important aspect. So through the community-driven development program, they were able to fund this. But there is a very interesting story about this. This process goes from a barangay assembly, and they make a choice so that this chosen project will be brought to a municipal inter-barangay forum. And when they went there, the representatives who presented the project of a footpath, it turns out that they have to bring photos of the area and to demonstrate that we really needed the footpath. But they did not have the money to have photos developed. And so one of the leaders, her name is Vivian, and she's there on the upper right hand. Sangla, that's mortgage. She took her ring and mortgaged it. Got 500 pesos for it, developed the photos, and convinced the municipal inter-barangay forum that 1.58 million pesos was needed to make the footbridge and foot trail project. So because they had the very clear pictures, they showed that people were really, and children were climbing up and down. And because that photo came out of her wedding ring that she mortgaged, they were able to win the program, the project, and they were able to do the footpath. But an interesting twist to the story is that when the pawn shop found out that that was what it was about, they returned the ring without having her to pay the 500. That is solidarity economy too. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the real story from the ground. That's what we're trying to do, to make solidarity economy a reality in the lives of the people here in the Philippines. Together with private sector, more importantly, civil society organizations. But the most important actor to this are citizens groups, ordinary people taking charge of their life, being in solidarity with each other, and teaching all of us that this can happen. Thank you and good morning.